Hi, welcome to another episode of Anewgo of New Home Sales. I'm John Lee, one of your co-hosts, but our regular host, Anya Chrysanthem's on vacation. But like I always say, the show must go on. And I thought, what a better way to end the year than with our most popular guest, Myers Barnes, talking about the most popular topic of the day, which is AI. And that's not only going to be for 2025, but into 2026. So first of all, welcome to the show, Myers. And I want to give you a chance here to explain your long and illustrious career and explain to the audience why the sudden passion and excitement for AI after decades in this industry.
Well, it has been decades, and thanks for having me. It's a real thrill to be here with you. But it has been decades in the business, which I guess could say it ages me a bit, but I would suggest it's helped me. But it was time for me to step away. That's why but I didn't retire. I went to rewire.
Mhm.
Everything that I taught was decades old, and it was time for me for a complete rewire. And I just said, I'm going to go step away. And what did step away involve? Stepping away said, I'm going to go master AI, which is a joke because you can't master it. It'll master you. So I went away. And you say, how long? And I said, well, about 2 years. That I just kind of remained paused. But what I was doing was studying AI. And when I studied AI, I started taking these college courses, Ivy League college courses. I paid an infinite money. None of it worked. It didn't take you anywhere. I was taking Coursera courses and none of it worked. It wasn't taking me anywhere. And so then I went, well, there's no manual for this. There's no manual for AI. There's no degree. How am I going to do it? And I said, well, I wanted to get what I considered a master's degree in AI. So I just worked math and I said, it takes 1 to 2 years to get a master's and 2,500 hours of study to get a master's. So I said, okay, that's if I did 3.5 hours a day of study in 2 years, I'd have it. So I said, I'll either get to 2 years or I'll get to 2,500 hours, but that's what I'm going to do. So I got there, 2,500 hours. And a lot of people would say, well, that's kind of impossible. And I'd go, is it? Because I'm going to flip it to you. John, you have spent no less, because you and I in conversations, you're in the lab. Like I'm not talking about you managing a company or leading initiatives or whatever, but lab time for you is about 6 hours a day, is what you said.
Yeah, exactly. And it's been going on even pre-AI in the sense AI has actually been around for over a decade, but probably in the last 5 years, we've been toying around it before it actually became popular because AI actually starts with data. So one of the things I knew if when AI comes, I knew eventually it was going to come, we need to have all our data lined up. But then once it came out in 2022, yeah, now I actually have an AI LLM, large language model, and user interface or platform to play with. And that's when it really accelerated. And just like you're saying, yeah, you have to really immerse yourself in it. And the problem is AI is accelerating at such a superhuman pace that even when I spend 2,500 hours, I'm still 5,000 hours behind every year because it keeps advancing and it's expanding with multiple AIs now.
Well, you're really what you've done. If you take just that number and go times 3 years, you're six.
Yes.
Dude, you've got a doctorate's degree. I'm working on a master's. I've completed my master's. Now I'm going for a second, but you're already in doctorate degree level and so forth. But you didn't have a manual. You had to
No,
immerse yourself. You had to do it. Now,
it's manual intervention. That's what it has to be.
it's mental jiu-jitsu. It's diving in. And I go, so I stepped away for 2 years because I wanted to learn this and I wanted to master it. Now, I didn't know I was really emerging back. It was only after the study I went, well, this is crazy. This industry is way off. They're still operating with funnels. They're still operating with SEO, and it's none of this is working. It's not aligning, and everybody's saying, "Well, sales are off." No, sales aren't off. Our strategy's off. And
Yeah,
so,
there is becoming a increasing gap with the consumers. There's becoming a disconnection gap as AI starts to become pervasive in our society. Our traditionally tech laggard industry, I would say even further behind in agriculture, needs to quickly catch up. If you hadn't even started down this path, not only are you 3 years behind, you may be 10 years behind because there's a part where you have to structure your data and then you have to train the data before you can even put it out in the wild. Otherwise, it will hallucinate. Otherwise, it will not represent your brand. It will not come up in the conversation that you're trying to appeal to your audience. So I think the time is of the essence. Everyone that says sit back and relax, it's like sitting on the beach in a tsunami.
Yeah, you know what? If I may, I'm going to add a layer to that because you mentioned 3 years. For those that may not understand what he's saying, and that's not a condescending statement, but it's just here's what's happening. Dog years. We
Mhm.
know that equation: 1 year, 7 years, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
All right. Now let's go AI years. What's a year to AI? 3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
You're in a year. AI said, hey, I'm already in 3 to 5 years ahead of you. So
Mhm.
people that are sitting there on the sidelines and going, well, let's do this then. Let's put this off till the second quarter. And then we're going to meet and discuss it. And you go, well, you just put it off 3 months. No, you put it off 9 to 14 months by AI time. You're already that far behind. If you don't deploy in 2026, you can deploy it, but you will lose. So to the early deployers, you've lost the race. They're going to own you. And for the
Yeah, they're
first
already
time,
3 laps ahead of you, and you're just still in the starting gates. The reality is you're fighting Silicon Valley speed with corporate bureaucracy. At an individual level, you may be to keep up. At an organizational level, you really need someone to manage it, usher it, lead it to the next level, which gets me to the elephant in the room. A lot of people now are concerned that AI could take their jobs. What's your feeling about that?
false narrative. AI is not here to take a job. AI is to augment you. AI is to accelerate you. AI can never replace empathy of a human. Okay.
Mhm.
Especially when it's handoff time to the home buyer. Okay. But that's when it's handoff time to the buyer. You can't replace the human empathy. You can't replace that. But you would go, is it going to take my job? No. But I will quote Jensen Hung of NVIDIA.
He's the CEO of NVIDIA.
Yeah. Okay. There you are, world's largest company. And you go, well, what does he say about it? And he said, AI is not going to take your job. The race isn't a machine against a human or a machine or human against a machine. He said, AI will never take your job, but another human that knows how to deploy AI will take your job. He said, so really, it's a matter of upskilling. Are you upskilling to it? And if you go out there and you look at it and go, it's deployment, and you go, take Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook Meta, he said this. He said, you know what? We don't even put any weight on a fancy college degree anymore. Those are his words. He said, we don't even put a weight on a degree. We ask one thing: how can you deploy AI? And here's what he did: he took a 19-year-old teenager, gave him $14.2 billion and said, oh, and by the way, I'm going to pay you $250 million a year in salary to run my AI department. A 19-year-old guy, no degree, nothing there, just AI capabilities and so forth. And this story can keep going. The godmother of AI, Fifi Lee, comes out and said, what? She said, look, I'm a doctorate teacher at Stanford, but I also helped found OpenAI, ChatGPT. She said, now I've got my own company going. She said, as far as us and what we're looking for in the talent today, we don't put any weight on the degree. This is a person who's a doctorate. She said, we don't
Right.
put a level on it. She said, here's where we level. And we go, can you deploy AI? Can you deploy it?
Mhm.
And so everybody's looking at for the deployment of AI. So the question is this: it's not, is AI coming to take my job? The question is, what are you doing to upskill yourself so that AI could never take your job? Am I making sense with that?
Yes, that's a very optimistic approach to this, is that we're all kind of at the starting gate of AI, whether you have a great degree or you just have a great degree of passion. And to be able to start at ground zero and the sky's the limit. And I do agree that AI may not take your job. Someone that knows how to master AI is just like the infantryman and the person that learns how to ride a horse and joins the cavalry. Look at the speed and the power and the leadership that it can give you. You're at that starting gate with a new horse. And I do think what it will do is it will change your job description. you will not be doing the same job as you do before. And there will probably be other impacts across your organization that will now manage a team of both bots and humans in the new AI era. What do you
Okay.
think about that?
Well, I'm going to mention a new role then. Okay.
All right, let's hear it. Because maybe it's creating jobs.
No, because that's it is. It's going to create a new job. AI will create a new job, and it's already happening. What Zuckerberg did with this guy was said, you know what? We need an orchestrator of AI.
A maestro.
Yeah, we need a conductor. Come in
A
here.
conductor. Yes, you're conducting a symphony of bots and humans, and it knows what music is playing to the right audience.
So what's happened is he said, what we're going to do is we're not bringing in VP of sales or marketing. We're bringing in a new chief executive officer. And you go, well, who's that? And you go, well, it would be the CAIO, the chief AI officer.
And let me just clarify that when you say chief AI officer, you don't mean it's an AI bot that's the officer. You mean it's someone that knows and understands the power of AI, but also has the experience and knowledge of your industry
To be able to train it, to be able to deploy it, to be able to take it into
to
sales,
meet your business goals
to be able to coordinate between the CRM, between sales, between everything.
across your enterprise.
And not only that, go and we're going to deploy it in construction, and we're going to deploy it. But this is a new role, and it will
Mhm.
come to every company that's any size at all. And you're going to have, I don't care whether it's just VP of AI deployment, okay, but there's going to be a person that's going to come in and conduct among all departments. Here's our AI, and this is how we deploy. That's a brand new role that's going to be created. Now, it'll also, got to be careful. It will also evolve a role that is so ingrained right now, but it's going to evolve it. It's going to evolve the OSC.
And just so people understand your history with OSCs, because you helped develop that role when everything went online. So just to share your experience and how you think that role will evolve now in this new AI era.
Okay, we created this role in 2005 in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Okay, and came up with it with a forward-thinking company in Tulsa. And we said, here's what we're going to do, and we'll have an online sales counselor. Well, first of all, that was because online was just coming in mainstream.
Yeah, online had to be a differentiating term. It's like, yes, this is for online. Everybody's online. It almost seems like a redundant term now. It's a sales counselor, right?
Sales counselor, your sales counselor is an intent journey.
Right,
Think
right.
that your sales counselor is your website today, and they're traveling this intent journey along the way. And you're going, well, what happens? Well, the OSC will turn into a new home orchestrator.
But before you get to that part, what was the important role of the OSC? I mean, what was the key to success for an OSC, and how does that differentiate now with an AI sales assistant?
Pick up the phone, answer the email, be as
So
fast as,
about response, it's about following up as quickly as possible. First one there gets the prize.
yeah, first one gets the prize, with it. And it was about, okay, it was like almost like a digital switchboard, if you will, and go, let me connect you, Tim, to the right neighborhood. Let me connect you to, but there was pauses and gaps and
So
pauses.
they were the intermediary that built that relationship, followed up quickly, passed on the lead, and kind of curated, set it up a little bit for the salesperson. That was primarily the role, and it really hasn't changed much, or has it changed much?
It didn't change much at all.
Okay.
I mean, you can say let's to nurture, to do, all the stuff with it. No, don't misunderstand. The OSC does not go anywhere.
Okay. So it's the role is changing, but the position is still there.
Here's what it is going. It's going to involve AI skills now, and that means somebody's got to upskill, this generation of people, but it's got to be an upskill to AI because that's what's happening with it. But the goal today is no longer let a human answer the phone first. The goal today is to let the CRM answer the phone if it's the right CRM.
Mhm.
Let the CRM pick up the phone. Let the CRM send out the first email. Why? Because it immediately, watch this, within 42 seconds, the right CRM, 42 seconds, it goes, I've just registered them.
Mhm.
You know what? They've spent 3 months researching. They backtrack and they see it. They go, they got 3 months that they've been researching. They visited that Huntington plan 78,000 times, and ad nauseum, they're in the design center, and all of a sudden they shoot you all that data right up. And so if you pick up the phone now first, the data's lost.
Right.
Okay? But it stitches it together, and then go back, and HubSpot or an equivalent CRM can go, hey, before you pick up the phone and call them, I just bought you 60 seconds. Okay. I've already responded. Okay. Now I've bought you another 5 minutes. Why don't you read this intent journey? And then
Mhm.
when you call them, you're going to be going, hey, I noticed
It will
this.
resonate.
Yeah. Okay. You're having, watch this, an authentic conversation because the automation handled the front end. Am I
Right.
making sense? Because this is
No,
all
it makes perfect sense. I mean, actually, I think you're going to start to see conversations start very early in the sales journey, in the customer journey. Traditionally, the conversation starts way down at the bottom with sales, but you're having conversations. And I would say even some of these conversations are anonymous. You don't know who they are, but they're engaged with your product, your company, your communities. And as they're evaluating you, you're also evaluating them by keeping track of all the interactions, like you're saying, everything from transcriptions of what they typed to what they said and to what they clicked on. And all that has done a favor for both the buyers and the sellers. For the buyers, it helps them confirm that this is where my dream home and where who I want to buy from. But also on the builder side, it starts to separate the good, bad, and ugly leads. Your OSCs are not wasting their time trying to evaluate and probably spurn and push off the ugly leads. They can focus on the good leads, and they're already curated for you because AI has done that dirty work.
so you can't qualify a lead and extract the information that the machine can extract. Why?
Exactly. At a massive scale, 24/7 across
It,
multiple languages
and
and multiple channels.
it's humanly impossible. But the CRM, if it's the right CRM, it can't be a legacy CRM that doesn't score on intent.
Right.
But if you're depending on that intent journey to guide you so that you don't go on there and go, well, what kind of home are you looking for? Well, average buyer, true numbers, have spent
Mhm.
50 to 100 hours before they engage the other.
Right. The only reason they're calling you is because they've already vetted you, they've already evaluated, they've already compared you, shopped you, talked about you. I think this gets to a bigger issue here where you alluded to earlier about the funnel is dead and the SEO is dead. In this new conversational environment where the humans may be talking to the bot first, or maybe it's even the bot shopping on behalf of the human, talking to another bot on the builder side.
Talking to
How
the,
how does SEO and the funnel play into that? Or
it
does it have no real impact at all now?
doesn't, man. I'm telling you, I had probably may have been one of the hardest points in 4 decade career, the first 6 months of the year. And I
This
go,
year? Mhm.
yeah, why? Because I said, I got to kill the funnel. And you why? And I go, because it's math, man. And I'm pretty good at it. And I said, it's a mathematical improbability, the funnel. It's push down,
Right.
push down, push down, push down.
Everybody has to be categorized, first of all. It's kind of like the old classified ads in the newspaper days. Everybody had to come in this channel, which is a newspaper, once a day, and they are going to classify categories, and then they have to contact the seller. That's what Google had done with SEO for a long time with 5 keywords in a sense. You classified yourself into that. It didn't really define your lifestyle, didn't really define your needs, your wants, your desires, your aspirations, your constraints, but you had to categorize that. And then you're forced down this distillery to funnel you down to then eke out.
Start at the top and
Right.
work.
You had to stop at the top and had to be filtered down, and you had to go through the filters of probably an OSC or other gated content, things like that to kind of wean you
I
down.
spent 100 hours online, digitally shopping. I
And
don't
you and you're
start
and you're
at the top. I'm not going to start at the top. I'll start at 70% down. By the time they reach the new home orchestrator now, by
right.
the time they do that, the new home orchestrator can look at it and go, well, they're 50% in. oh my goodness, they're 70% in.
Exactly. So you see the bigger radar picture of what's going on, but I think the other weakness of the whole SEO approach, which, obviously it's just really Google dominating it, and Google itself is now cannibalizing the SEO with AIO with Gemini. They have about 650 million users. It's the next one behind ChatGPT, which is close to a billion users now. But you're relying on the consumer, the shopper, going down that funnel, and not only going down the funnel, but clicking on dozens of links and going and exploring each haystack, looking for a needle and coming in and out. And you as the builder have to pay for that privilege for them to hopefully click on you and to try to outbid your competitors. But you're also relying on the herd of humans to go through that taxi hailing process in the Uber world now. And I just think, yes, I think SEO, those days, I don't want to say they're numbered, but it's not the seller or the builder that's dictating that. It's the consumer behavior that's dictating that, just like they choose to shop on Amazon versus maybe going out to a brick and mortar store. But it's
Okay.
also dictated by Silicon Valley. Remember, Google is Gemini. Gemini is Google. Google is spending tons of money investing in an AI approach. They had to do that. Actually, they're the first to develop the AI, but they held it back because of they would disrupt their own business. But I believe that because the competition of AI, they have to work within that new frame. But the minute they start to sell ads on their Gemini conversation channel, they will not have to sacrifice their golden goose SEO for AI anymore. And it
Well,
will be about the AI conversation.
we know that search is going away. It's a foregone conclusion. But you just said something about Amazon. See, my mission was to kill the funnel, and you said,
Mhm.
why did you want to kill it? And I said, because it worked this way. It was, you got to think, Jeff Bezos is the real innovator in this whole deal because he went and looked at the flywheel. And
Right.
so the Jim Collins writes a book, Good to Great, mentions the flywheel. Bezos reads it and said, bam, that's how I'm going to run Amazon on the flywheel approach.
And
And
HubSpot follows the same process too. It's,
and so he essentially said, funnel's dead, man. This is how people are doing it. Okay, that was long ago. And HubSpot in 2018 comes in and says, the funnel is obsolete. They wouldn't kill it. They just said it was obsolete. And I went, yeah, but you know what? If I leave it as obsolete, there's still going to be what I call the Klingons. And
they're clinging on.
the Klingons,
They're not going to the final frontier.
yeah, the Klingons are going to go, oh no, the funnel served me well. And I go, do you even know where the funnel came from? No. Then why do you follow it? Because I don't know. Well, here's where the funnel
I
came.
inherited it.
124 years ago.
Right.
124 years ago, the funnel was developed as a metaphor, if you will. And they said, we gotta explain this push down process we created: attention, interest, desire, action, IDA formula.
Hmm.
Funnel. Funnel will hold it. It's a metaphor. It didn't even exist. It was just a
Right.
metaphor that was created. And you go, so we're running sales and marketing on a 124-year-old metaphor
Right.
that doesn't align. So then I said, okay, well, it's got to be a vortex. That's the only thing that could handle it. And I was mathematically correct with it. AI's agreed with it. Five, not five hallucinating, five in convergence. And
Hmm.
I was right. The funnel's done. Okay. Now, it further evolved though with HubSpot. And this is to HubSpot's credit. They said it's really not just the flywheel. We're letting that one go. It's the loop
Hmm.
because data. We're going to continue to collect data. Now, this is going to upset the national data keepers because now I don't need the national data. My website, my CRM will give me all the data I need.
Hmm.
I don't care what's going on in Seattle. I only care about what's happening in Raleigh, period. I don't need a national trend to tell me what to build in Raleigh or how to
I
build.
agree. It's about real estate's all local, and the idea of the loop going beyond the flywheel, the loop piece. And I don't want to get into all technical things, but I think the loop is an important part of your AI enterprise where it loops in, your ERP data with your marketing and sales data, with your CRM and all that stuff. Um, dr- is a it drives intent, it drives signals, it gives you an understanding of what's working, what's not, what's selling, what and how you should sell, and what's well with marketing. Bringing everything into the loop and letting AI orchestrate that, or your CAIO, or as you're calling it, or your AI specialist at maybe a lower level. Um, I think being able to um, capture that three ring circus in a sense and be able to and orchestrate that, I think you're going to start to glean a lot of valuable data that resonates with not just your business, but also your customer journey and customer experience. Because ultimately, I think for builders to succeed, they need to improve that painful, arduous, risky, frustrating new home customer journey and very poor customer experience.
Well, they do, but you know what? We've incorporated the loop here, and so said, okay, funnel's done, vortex, and then I went, no, 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 it's not enough because it doesn't take the data. I've got to incorporate the loop. So now we have the new home loop operating system. We're
Mhm.
building an operating system, and you can check that out on LinkedIn. There's a trail miles deep.
Right.
This is being rebuilt, and so it's how the modern buyer is going to do this. But hey, we haven't said anybody's getting replaced. Nobody's lost their
No,
job.
I think it just makes things more efficient. And maybe to expand a little bit about the loop idea is one of the big powers of AI is this ability to synthesize, gather, and assimilate and integrate disparate sources of data.
Mhm.
And so you may have siloed data in your ERP or Excel spreadsheet or your app or your YouTube video or your social media campaign. But to be able to let AI kind of sit on top of that whole symphony of different instruments in a sense and be able to have them play this from the same playbook, that ability for AI to synthesize that data from disparate sources and present it in a meaningful way to both the builder to achieve their business goals, as well as each individual shopper, because they have unique personalized needs, wants, and desires. The ability for AI to orchestrate that data across traditionally siloed data that's really not only not really connected, but it's only connected in a fine line of just your profile information or just once a day, or it's only going in one direction. But to have it go in real time, bi-directionally, multimodally across different languages and channels, I think that will add clarity to the whole business model and the whole customer journey.
It does, but I didn't send you this because I went, oh no, if I send it to him, he'll talk about it tomorrow. We're not ready to get there quite yet, but you know, most people don't know this, but yesterday Google launched a solid initiative. You know what the initiative was?
What's that?
Control listings of real estate. And the moment that they said, hey, we're going to start listing real estate, we're testing it in several markets, Austin, California, and stuff. We're testing this. We're going to handle the listings. We're going to propagate the listings. We'll make it. You know what happened to the stocks?
Of Zillow.
Yeah, it precipitously dived and went, wait, Google's going to start handling it? All right, AI. All right, again, we'll quote uh, Ms. Lee, and you know the godmother of this, and she just said, you don't understand, it's called a law of inevitability. John, it's inevitable. AI is jumping in. It's inevitable. Look at the soft chat messages. Chat says, hey man, we're going straight into the vertical of home building. Why? $1.2 trillion a year. $1.2 trillion a year. We're one of the most powerful verticals home building because we don't just do that. We also drop furniture sales, insurance sales, banking. It's trillions of.
They're all going to have agents. So if you have this home builder agent that gets you through that home shopping experience, when they get those mortgages, that insurance, the utility connections, the insurance agent, AI agent, will love to capture into that lead.
They're gonna. It's just AI is not taking a job, but you have certainly got to upskill yourself to it. So again, I'm going to just keep throwing this back out, and we'll circle on this one 100 years and go, if they're not going to take your job, the question is better question, smarter question. What are you doing to educate your culture and your teams on AI because it's too inevitable.
Yeah, I actually, since you touched on the topic of the portals, and I'm just a reporter here in a sense. I mean, obviously, I have no skin in
So
the
it's
game.
okay. Go
But
ahead.
the reality is, portals and other aggregators were always aggregating content and data. And what it did was it put it in a user-friendly interface on a specific industry or domain, and for people to say, hey, I'm coming to the farmer's market, and that's where I buy my produce in a sense. Okay, well, now if you can have Instacart bring it to you the way you want it, and I want to say you disintermediate that aggregation site, no longer having to go to catalog shopping. I can see how the AI, on top of being able to substitute itself as a consultant, as almost a buyer's real estate agent, which that whole area is now being transformed. I won't say disrupted, but you're going to have to change your game a little bit there as well. It makes sense that the AIs like Gemini or Google and ChatGPT and others move into that, because if they can pull that data, particularly from the builders, and it's already curated by the builders, because it's not really a new home MLS, especially for homes that are not built, and you have to now assemble the pieces and parts uniquely for your particular lifestyle and needs, unlike an existing home where it's just a picture and an address. I think if we're able to pass that information directly, or I don't even say pass it, they're just going to extract it. And this is where generative AI and agentic AI kind of come together in a AI commerce environment. Without getting too technical here, the generative AI, some people understand now, over the last 2 or 3 years, that AI can generate images, it can generate marketing content, it can generate videos, it can generate all that stuff. So what happens is when you're having a personal conversation with your AI agent that people are used to using in their daily lives, and you're going to shop for new homes, it can generate that meaningful content to you there. But the problem for them, for the large language models, is they're great at scouting and searching the landscape and then bringing the 5 builders or the 10 plans that I recommend or the 3 communities and all that kind of stuff. But to go down the customer journey of what it takes to buy a new home and pieces and parts and mortgage rates and all that stuff, this is where someone in our industry, and I think it's going to be the same in every industry, you're going to have an AI domain master of their domain in their industry. And it's going to connect with the large language models, which brought, yes. And now each builder can represent themselves the way they want to represent themselves, because it still comes down to, hey, am I the right match for this client? And do we have the right products and the right price points, the right incentives and the right brand and all that kind of stuff? And this is where I think the agentic AI marries with the generative AI. And the agentic AI is at the industry level that takes them down that customer journey in a very personalized way that meets both the needs and wants of the buyer as well as the requirements and goals of the builder.
Okay, what you just said brings me to this, and I want to add a layer, if I may, please, is that this is why you have to learn AI. John, you just spoke Greek. That's,
Let's make,
that's
yeah.
me. I get it. I dig everything. I'm
Yeah.
following along. But would you agree with this? It's impossible to master AI if you do not know the vocabulary of
It
AI.
definitely. And one of the biggest knocks on AI is the AI hallucinates. Well, why does it hallucinate?
Because you lose your own vocabulary.
Yes, you haven't taught it. You don't even know the vocabulary yourself. And if the one thing that you should be able to control is at least the vocabulary in your own industry and your own business and your own brand. So it's actually your fault if you're the marketing person or you're the leader in your company and the AI is hallucinating and representing your brand when it's talking to its customer, its home buyer, because you didn't teach the AI the right things about you, and not only just your brand, but if you didn't feed it the right things that the AI is looking for, not just 4 bedrooms, three and a half baths or whatever, but pricing, location, incentives, things even beyond your website. If you didn't feed it, they will not come because they don't know what to come for. They don't see it. And it's, especially if you gate it, AI is not going to fill out forms to say, hey, let me see what's behind door number 2. It just walks to the next door.
So here's a bad launch strategy. You put out something and you say coming soon, prices
Yeah.
to be announced. AI sees it. They don't just skip you. They avoid you like the plague forever because they said, look, this guy's gating the information. They didn't give us specific. If you go out there and say, our homes start at 385, what do they see? 385. Well, your homes could go to 750,
Right.
but you know what? Somebody, they go, hey, we're looking for a home around 550. And they go, oh, those homes start at 385. Okay, gone. And they'll never come back to you.
Yes, because you don't have the luxury of a safety net of page two, three, four, five that you're hoping some buyers will say, hey, I'm going to stick this out because I have to find a house. You're going to have to end up in the first two or three paragraphs as the first three or four mentions because the buyers, we trust Uber. Uber has matched for us. We don't go shopping 100 cars that drive by that says Uber on there and say which one is going to be the best one for me. We are specifying what we're looking for. And frankly, we may not even be doing humans, I'm saying, may not be doing shopping every day, but their AI bot could be their surrogate shopper every day because this eliminates FOMO. It not only eliminates the pain of shopping, it eliminates the fear of missing out because I specify what I want. I don't want to tell my life story to every builder that I just got divorced or my in-laws are staying with me and having to explain whatever. I'm just going to put it out there and let the AI talk to AI at 2 o'clock in the morning. And then when I wake up at 8 o'clock, it says, hey, here are the perfect matches. That's the Uber experience. We're both sitting in the coffee shop or having morning coffee, and then we get notified of what matches and what doesn't. So you don't miss out because nobody wants to say, hey, I missed because I was on vacation shopping 100 haystacks looking for a needle that could have or could not have been there or a new inventory at home that pops up. But the AI is constantly searching for you because it's working for you, not against you.
Says, hey, I know you're on vacation. I thought you'd like to see this home.
Exactly. And it knows where you left off. It knows that your time frame that you want to move in 3 months. So it knows, hey, I got to get the ball rolling because this guy's moving in 3 months. Yeah, if you say it's going to be a year out, then it'll pace itself accordingly because there's no sense adding pressure to something that's not needed.
Essence, no humans getting replaced. Let's
Right.
keep this thing going, okay? But in essence, marketing's skewed. And you go, why is it skewed? I'll ask you a question. No prompting with this. I haven't asked you this question, okay? I'll just see where you go with it. Hopefully you'll go. What's more important, signal or branding?
I
What's
think in this new era, I think the signal is going to be more important because I think, well, go ahead. Tell me if I'm in
signal?
line with what you're saying
Signal
first.
means you're found.
Yes.
You're discovered. You've surfaced. That's a new search. You don't search and click and search. It's like, are you recognized? What's your signal out there? And your signal says, this is who I am. Find me. This is where you go. I surface your website. Well, brand always said, well, this is warm, fuzzy connection. Do you think signal reads a brand?
Yeah, and I'm glad we're kind of aligned here because brand is still very important. Okay,
It
it's not
is. After
everybody.
they find
Yes,
you,
exactly. We're not going to white label all builders. They already, in one sense, already kind of a commodity anyway. So you kind of have to differentiate yourself. But what happens is when you go out and put a search, unless you're like shopping for Nike or something specifically, that's a consumer brand, you're probably going to shop on your needs, wants, and your desires. Okay, and now what happens before when it's SEO? You have that one little paragraph. You're not going to define all your products, all your lifestyle, all your matching situations. You are kind of living off your brand. Hey, we're a great custom home builder in Houston, Texas, and whatever. And maybe you're luring them to go to your store. But I think now because AI can search thousands of stores and bring in just the 5 homes out of the 500 out there that resonate with you, it's going to be product first. But when they have that conversation and say, hey, that was a great matchup, pairing up. I love your recommendations, sommelier. I love that red wine. Well, now you bring in that brand. Hey, look, this was Josh's wine from their cellar from 10 years ago or whatever. Now you can start to talk about your brand, your attributes that you're affirming what
but first of all, you got to be
what
found.
the yes, you have to be found. But the AI has recommended the wine, your
Mhm.
brand
Is
and your messaging and your human content on your website because AI sees things differently. They see it in data form. The eyes of humans see it in an appealing, engaging form. Your brand now has to affirm what the AI has vetted.
but you know why that's cool? David and Goliath. Watch this. a builder that builds 50 homes, that builds the right website, the right signal site, because it's not a website anymore. It's called a
Mhm.
signal site. A builder that builds the right website, signal site, and organizes their marketing, their content, so that
Right.
AI can read it under AI's rules, not SEO's rules with it. They're the ones that are surfacing right now. So finally, a builder that's building 50 homes can take a national builder and obliterate them
Yes,
in
because
tracking traffic, because they could still be going, well, no, 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 no. We organize everything via SEO. We organize everything via traditional marketing. We organize everything with this. And you go, yeah, but Signal, we already know 60% of all leads aren't even, they just bypass the clicks altogether. All the searches, the clicks are being bypassed. Okay. It's all being drawn to Signal. So the brand second, get found first. That's
I agree because I think this could be a great equalizer if you're talking about the David Goliath analogy. A lot of these custom home builders, semi-custom home builders, they're great for the regional market or their craftsmanship or their history or whatever. That doesn't show up a lot of this SEO 5 keyword searches. They're just trying to get down to, hey, the location and your new home or whatever. So unfortunately, these little guys have to compete based on how much they can pay for a higher ranking on SEO. Well,
man.
Lennar is always going to pay more for your name than you can ever pay for yourself. And so and actually to get up to that generic keyword match, you actually have to actually commoditize your brand. What happens now is you can talk about, hey, we have nice wooded lots, or we have this kind of community amenities, and talk about all these kind of things that people may search. When I say search, they're asking for, requesting in a conversational experience with the AI. So now those little nuanced things that you would never put in a keyword search, like we have a dog park, will now show up in that conversation when they say, yeah, I have 3 dogs. And I think that's where I think you're able to elevate yourself higher up into a meaningful conversation, which the conversation is not just advertising anymore. It's actually starting the sales process.
Hey, it's no advertising anymore. You can do all you want. You can try to buy your way to the top. It
Yeah,
ain't
you
gonna.
can't. You have to be a match. You have to be personalized matched.
But you have to build it. It's architecture. Hey, you're a
Right.
build. Figure it out. You build this architecture. Your website is an architecture, and it attracts signal. You can't buy signal. You have to attract it. You have to build for it, and everything goes that way. So you go, well, Mars, John, how do I plug in AI? You plug it in two ways. Two ways. These are your two plugs. Plug it in through your website. Okay.
Hmm.
That's the only way you can plug in. All
Right.
right. Secondly, you plug it in with the right CRM. And if you don't have those two plugged in to AI, if they're not integrated and tied together, you will always have the silos of sales, marketing, CRM, you plug it in there and it all comes into congruency. But that's only because you keep me under time limits. We got about 5 or 6 minutes and an hour's elapsed. And
Well, let me just kind of wrap it up a little bit of how I
what
see.
about agents? We got to get to agents because
Well,
people.
let me touch on agents a little bit here. I'm gonna keep it very simple because we only have like say 5 minutes here. But at we're in the agentic era, okay? 2025 really launched that off, and this is where you're starting to see the benefits of AI because now it's starting to roll out in apps. And when you start to have agents, this is where it starts to help on the customer journey. I think there's going to be two paradigms of the AI agents. Okay. One is going to be at the large language model where everyone has their own AI agent, and that's, I would say it's a buyer's agent. Okay. That's where the AI is working on behalf of the buyer and the seller in attracting an audience or gathering that audience. Okay. And it's using generative AI to do that because it can generate the meaningful content, visuals, voice, text that appeals to them. But when you're going down that customer journey, I think this is where the AI going into your website or your channels could be your sales center as well. It could even be the portal. The agentic AI is now where you take that handoff from this large audience that the AI has used by matching the buyers with the right content, but it can't really take them down that complex interactive customer journey. And this is where having your own AI seller's assistant on your website not only does it help the buyer, but it helps represent your brand. Because if you leave it up to Perplexity and Gemini and ChatGPT to talk about you, they'll probably talk about your competitors down the street as well, because it's objective that way, representing the buyer. But just like you have a buyer's real estate agent, you have your own sales agent there, you're going to need your own AI sales assistant on your website, your channel, your domain. And then what that AI is doing is using agentic AI. Agentic AI is the one that helps it goes down that customer journey. Now, coincidentally, both of these AI platforms use EEAT. Okay.
Right.
On the EEAT side, this started out with SEO and Google. EEAT says, hey, we need to make sure that this vendor, this website, it has experience, and it's also an expert, and it's also an authority, and it's also trustworthy, because it doesn't want to take you to some kind of fly by night site and waste your time and be erroneous. It's already has enough hallucination issues. But what happens is, as the buyer has now found their products and they come to your website, you now need to affirm them. This is where you start to hand off from the bots to the humans, because ultimately we're going to get back to the online sales counselor or the salespeople. That EEAT now takes a different meaning. Okay. Instead of being experienced, saying you have experience, it's about experiences. It's about, how do you engage with a customer? Is it interactive? Can I customize it? Can I personalize and all that stuff? Instead of just being the expert, it's now going from being an expert to being about emotion and empathy. That's where, yes, and that's going to be resonated in your website, and as it connects to the OSC. And then the A part, which is about, hey, is this website an authority on the subject matter? When it comes to your website, it's about authenticity, not the authority anymore. It's about, hey, are they contributors to their community? What's their history? Are they open about what they say and what they do in their FAQs, and the social media confirm that? And then the trustworthiness piece, which was part of the vetting to get to the website. Now, when you get to the website, it's not about trustworthiness, it's about transparency. You know, do they
Right.
show their pricing? Do they tell their story? And are they open to their faults and to their, limitations? That EEAT on the AI representing you on your website will help usher you in a seamless transfer over to the human salesperson. And
Can I
that's
use,
where the AI works with your team, not against it.
we're gonna run out of time, but I want to use a personal example as I may. I didn't write volume two of the book. And the reason I didn't write volume two of the book was AI changed so rapidly. By the time I'd get 4 chapters in, something would happen. I'd go, oh my gosh, I got to go back to chapter two, rewrite it. Well, that impacts 3 and 4, and it impacts the next chapter. So I said,
Right.
stop it. And I went, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to write a book chapter by chapter. It's going to be written in white paper form, and I'll put it on as a blog. Like I have a, if you want to learn it, and by the way, I have never monetized what I'm doing. I don't charge a thing. But if
And
you
we
go,
have no financial relationship or business
no, no,
relationship
no,
either.
no, no. And I have no financial relationship with HubSpot. I don't take money for endorsements. All right. Now, here's the thing. You go, there's a 30-page white paper on how to select the right website. 30-page white paper. It's right there. It's free. You don't have to register. I even say friction free. No email, please. I don't collect emails. I don't do anything. I don't even know if you've loaded it. All I do know is I can see reactions and comments, and I can see the number of loads, but I don't know who's doing it. So there's 30 pages. Well, what do I do about the CRM? 26 pages. There it is. Formula step by step. Wow, I can tie the CRM to the website. Yep, there it is. In about 60 pages put together for you, white paper. Well, what is this thing intent? 17 pages. It's right there. I don't write little blogs. I'm writing white papers. It's all free. You don't even have to register. All right. Now, AI respects that, because what happens is I'm not paying for surfacing right now. But in less than a year, I own all the organic terms. Organic. I didn't say paid. People outrank me on paid, but organically. Why? Because I'm free, because it's there, it's available, authority, all the stuff that's going, and go, I'm just educating, man. So if you want to train your team, just go get the free documents. If you want to
Mhm.
train your team, you should be listening to the Anewgo podcast. There's your training, because there's no manual right now. That's just my suggestion.
Yeah, this kind of comes full circle from my initial question about why are you so passionate about this industry? And I'm starting to get a feel for that, that after 40, 50 years that you spend in this industry, you're not trying to have the industry continue to pay you more. You're actually paying back to this industry that you love because it's given so much to you. And you're actually kind of following similar to my mentality. I always say you yearn to learn, you learn to earn, and when you earn, you return to those who yearn to learn. And I think you're coming full circle here that, is provided for our livelihoods, our passion, our interests, and our love of this industry. For you to pay it back for the next person that wants to learn and grow in this industry, this is why you're doing it. And I think you really believe that AI is that next paradigm shift, that it's a great opportunity for those that want to seize it.
Okay, I feel like a saint now, and I'm not, because I am going to eventually monetize. The point being is right now, my goal for the next year is just education, education,
Yes.
education, education, education. But I'm not trying to monetize anything at this moment in life.
I'm not saying that you should just do everything for charity, but I can see that right now there's going to be a lot of hard work before you make anything out of this, and it could end up with nothing. But you're driven by your passion, your
Sure.
excitement, and your belief. So,
And so are you.
yes,
And
I mean that's kind of why I do it. It's
I'm not trying to wrap it. I'm just saying if I can give one deal here, I can go, and it's not a paid endorsement. There's nowhere in North America, let's end the conversation, actually in the world, no one that is in the home builder vertical that builds an AI frame site other than you.
yeah, maybe I'm the crazy one, huh?
Oh, but you're the only one. Yeah, you know what? It's just so you're early there. So people are going, well, where do I go? I don't know. The website has a 3-year lifespan. Okay, so let's go out and get a new website today. All right, well, let's build it on an SEO frame. Good. You're stuck with it for 3 years. You're invisible for 3 years. For the next 3 years, you've got the only frame, man. And if somebody wants to plug in, they need to plug in on the AI frame, not the SEO frame that's already being displaced. It's done, and so that's the direction. And so fix it with the website, fix it with the CRM, and fix it with educating your team on AI. But let's nobody's getting replaced. Okay, that's a big thing. Nobody's replaced.
That's a good way to start 2026. I think it's a great opportunity for those to expand their skills, expand their role, expand their opportunities. And where can people continue to follow up with you or follow you?
They follow along. I would go homebuilderai.ai.
Okay.
It was a very obvious marketing name, homebuilderai.ai. That was the choice.
Makes sense.
All free, man. It's all free. I see Anya is posting through Anewgo, but every once in a while you slip in these blistering nuggets that go, wow, that you're posting. How does this work between you two posting? How do they find your work? How do they find a new
I probably don't follow her rules. And she's like, "What? What was that?" And I said, "Well, I was just playing around with AI last night, and then it just
like this
crossed
video?
another." All right, we better stop it there if I get more in trouble because she's probably saying, "Wait a minute, you weren't even sanctioned to do a podcast here." So,
No, but where do they find? I mean, how do they find you to find the depth of your work, to find the depth of Anewgo's work? I mean, what's the best way for them to stay connected with you guys?
if you go to our newgo.com, we actually have an AI assistant there. So that she's kind of my own guinea pig, and that's our AI native app. It was built by AI, with AI, for AI, and for you and I. So that's kind of my little testing place. I also have a newgohomes.com, which is my prototype builders website that has
All
AI in there so that people can see how their builder's website could be transformed into an AI
right, right.
website. And
Uh-huh.
then, yeah, follow me if you want. I mean, this is really about you, but yeah, if you follow me, I'm always posting things. I can't promise you what's going to happen every day because AI is just a constant discovery and a constant. The irony is people say, wow, you're so smart. You come up with all these things. The reality is, my success is actually built on a succession of failures. You just don't see the 80% failure rate. But the 20% that kind of comes out is
Uh-huh.
pretty decent, but I'm just keeping up.
I know we if you and I walk to the streets of San Francisco today, they'd look at us and they go, "So you guys think you're big in Carolina? You're so mainstream. You're nothing. We're we're pipsqueaks compared to what's
Oh,
going on."
definitely. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I mean, reality
It's
is
nothing to
we're
leave
really
home.
nothing. Yeah.
And that's the goal. Is can home building go better? Can salespeople make more money? Watch this. Can builders generate more revenues? Can builders generate higher margins? Because it's not about making sales; it's about profitable sales. And this is the promised land of profitability is through AI.
Mhm.
And you're going to cling to the past to a 125-year-old funnel. You can't get to the promised land.
All right, well, that sounds great. We're gonna look into 2026 and basically start anew, and let's go. All right. See you later.
I appreciate it, man.
Okay, bye.